Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate your time. I wanted to very quickly talk about this whole thing that's going on social media right now with all of these young black women either being completely taken out or being injured or just fighting with their friends. Just the whole sort of, it's like this trend. It's like up a kick in black women and their friendships being in shambles.
And she recently shared the most scariest experience that anybody could ever go through, and she almost lost her life. She said, "Hey to all my social media, family, and friends. I was recently poked 6 times by someone who I called my friend. Basically, what happened was I asked her to help me find my phone. She agreed. She found my phone." Before she refused to tell me where it was because it was, quote, right in my face, quote, as she stated. I continue to say, if you see where my phone is, why can't you just tell me? And I called her crazy. I started to give up looking, but sure enough, 2 minutes later, I was able to locate it. I told her, "You could have told me where it was. You act crazy." She replied, "I'll show you crazy." Proceeds to the kitchen to grab a knife. I said, "Abby, you crazy." And before I can even respond, she starts poking me and she wouldn't stop. I'm currently in the hospital at Jackson Memorial, Miami, Florida, where I'm suffering with 6 poke wounds, 2 in the chest, 2 on my stomach, and 2 on my arm. As I lay here in the hospital, I'm in so much pain mentally and physically. So she does have a GoFundMe now. Her injuries are so bad. She literally was disemboweled. She didn't really go into too many graphic details. Y'all know how it is with Instagram and all these platforms. But she said that she was poked so badly that her organs were coming out of her. So, I don't want to be too graphic. So she said she had to hold them in her hands until the ambulance arrived. She said it was so scary. Everything happened so fast. I'm in so much pain at the moment. All of this over a petty argument amongst quote unquote friends. If you know me personally or know of me, you would know I'm a person who almost never asks for help.
Me and my friend is going through something, we gonna fight it out. So that's just that. Nobody's gonna jump in. And that's just what happened.
Shankwella Robinson did not deserve what was coming her way, but one of her friends might think so. We have audio recordings to prove that one of the suspects thought that this was all just normal karma. Watch what happens to find out what they said behind Shankwella's back. It was supposed to be Shankwella Robinson's 26th birthday the other day, and we bet her family didn't expect to celebrate it this way. Tons of balloons were released into the sky by the Robinson family, along with Shankwella's real friends, not the one she was with in Mexico. The most recent one includes the suspects thinking this was already coming Shankwella's way and that she deserved it. Following the incident, several netizens attempted to gather information about the people who accompanied Shankwella on the trip to Mexico. The names were not initially released, but it was later found that Caldwell Cook, Nazir Wiggins, Alice Hyatt, D. Janie Jackson, and Winter Donovan were on the trip alongside Robinson. In the resurfaced recording, Winter Donovan was talking about her friend, or should we say former friend. Winter was part of the Cabo Six, the 6 friends Shankwella Robinson went on the vacation with. They're also the same 6 people who lied to her family. The recording starts with Winter narrating what happened because they already knew this story was getting big since the video of Shankwella and their other friend was going viral at that moment. To them, the fight started because Shankwella apparently did something crazy while she was drunk.
I felt like I needed to very quickly make a video about this topic because I just think it's crazy. First and foremost, I wanted to say this. It is really, really great if you can find someone that is a really good friend, like a really good, solid, dependable friendship the older you get, because it is harder to make those connections the older you get. People are busy with their lives. People are wrapped up with so much going on. You have kids, you have relationships, you have partners, you have, older parents you're taking care of. It is just completely overwhelming. And a lot of times your friendships suffer. You don't get to really spend time doing friend stuff that maybe you wish you could, right? And so if you have found someone that you have been able to be friends with over the years, let alone a group of women that you trust, where you genuinely feel sisterhood, you are blessed. Please understand this. That is such a huge blessing. There's a lot of people who cannot find that. Clearly by some of the videos and the clips that I'm going to be showing in this video. So I wanted to say this. I know on social media it is a common thing that we see people posting, oh, this is why I don't have women as friends. This is why I keep to myself. This is why I much rather be friends with males. You see these kinds of comments all the time. I myself have made these comments. I have felt that way. I still kind of feel that way. But that's because when I was younger, growing up on a farm, I wasn't around a lot of little girls my age. So my best friend was a boy. My first best friend was a boy. I have traditional male interests when it comes to like some of the things that I like. So yeah, but yeah, you constantly hear people say these things. You constantly hear women saying like, this is why I don't have female friends. I want to make it clear that while there's definitely validity in that, we should be able to be friends with women. It should happen. It doesn't always happen, but it should happen. And it's very, very, very important that when you realize that someone is not your friend, when they show it with their actions, little comments that they make, little backhanded things that they do, you find out they're talking about you later, you find out that something that you told them that was between you two, now this whole other person knows and you don't even know how they have your information, it's because your friend told them. The moment you find out someone is not your friend, is not someone you can trust, it is so important for you to cut off communication with them or back off, put them in a place where they can no longer influence your life, damage your life, harm you. Because while it's great to have that big group of friends, you could take photos and, you know, be on Instagram and, you know, jump on someone's IG story, all that stuff, and y'all all in the background going wild at brunch, that's great. However, that's not so important as your life. It's not so important as having peace. And it's not as important as really knowing that the people around you are people that you could be safe with, including your children. And I think a lot of times we don't talk about that. Like, we kind of think about it. And then when you see people making those statements like, oh, this is why I don't have female friends, we assume like, okay, we know what you're saying. We know why women say that. But it sometimes can become very ugly. I had this conversation with my husband a few weeks ago, and I said to him, because he was like reading the blogs on Instagram, he was like, wow, like what's going on? Is that how women really are? And I had to tell him like, yes, like a lot of times women are friends with women that they don't actually like, that they are secretly jealous of, that they want to, by being, you know, a proxy to their friend, have access to better men that they cannot date on their own. There's so much little weird social things that if you break down a lot of female relationships, they are not healthy. They are not based in things that are good. At any moment, things could fall apart. And that's what we've been seeing lately. Now, speaking as someone who has had both large friend groups and that now that I'm older, I am friends with young women that don't live where I live anymore. And so we kind of interact and connect online and through text messaging and FaceTiming and phone calls. But I can say I've had both. I've experienced both. I've had the large group of friends, like, you know, kind of like what we see on Girlfriends, what we see on Sex and the City, where everyone kind of has their place, everyone kind of has their role. And just like what you especially saw on Girlfriends, there's little sort of like weird dynamics that are like under the surface. And that was ultimately why I fell out of those friendships and left that friendship group, because the older and mature I got, the more mature I got, I started to realize that these women were not my friends in the way that I thought. And more specifically, I realized we could not grow. Our friendship was contained to my age. And it's important that you do not try to hold on to those friendships so that you don't look weird, that you don't feel alone. I understand it's so nice to have a large group of friends. It's so nice to, of course, on social media, come off as popular and, oh, look at all my friends behind me. Yes, that's like great. But at the same time, you never want to be in a situation where you are surrounded by women who really hate you. You're surrounded by women who really don't fuck with you like that. You're surrounded by women that if something bad happens to you, they're not going to feel like they need to protect you or help you or aid you. They're just going to stand there and record with their phone. That's not the situation you want to be in. I'm telling you, as someone who is a little bit older, even though I don't look like it, even though I don't look my age, I'm telling you, it is much more valuable to have people in your life that you know without a shadow of a doubt you can trust, that will take care of you and protect you, your kids, especially as things become more complicated. You can't have a wishy-washy friend when you're a grown woman. You can't do it. I'm just telling you, it's not doesn't actually work the way a lot of people think it works. I'm telling you, it is the new year. Please evaluate your friendships, evaluate yourself. See if you are hanging on to anybody, hanging on to any friendships with someone that you secretly don't like. Listen, that's not cool. It's unnecessary. One of the last things I will say before I go is, this is something that I have started to live by. It's something that I'm going to take with me throughout my life. And I have had a much better life since I've embraced this ideology. Is family is not always going to be the people that you are biologically related to or the people that you've known the longest. Sometimes God has new friendships for you, new relationships for you, new people that he wants you to embrace because he knows it's going to be good for you and it's going to be good for them. And they may not be someone that's been in your life forever. They may not be someone that you share blood with. And so I've really been embracing this concept, and that has allowed me to create a group of people that I consider my family, and we're not related and they haven't known me all my life. And the last thing I'll say is, it's very hard to be friends with a male or a man if y'all somewhat might find each other attractive, or any other type of circumstances. I have tried to have a male best friend that was heterosexual. It ended horribly. It did not go well. He ended up really breaking my heart and doing some things that really shook me. Honestly, I could honestly say, it changed who I became as a young woman. It taught me that though you may know someone for 10 plus years, it doesn't mean you know them. And when you really understand that, you no longer attach a certain amount of time to people. You just pay attention to certain things while you're in the moment. And my husband says he was in a friend zone. I don't think he was. You can't be in a friend zone for 8 years. To me, that's crazy. I thought we were genuinely friends, but it's neither here or there. He wanted to change our relationship. I gave him the opportunity. It went horrible. So, I'm done with the male friendships. I have had some very bad experiences, and I have had to let a lot of people go because I realized our friendship was not what I thought it was. And when you get to a state in your life where you have more important things that require your time and your energy, you don't feel like investing yourself in people who aren't worthy of who aren't worthy of it, And that's just what it comes down to. All right, so that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.